Hello, everybody. Welcome to Marvel Movie News. My name is Matt Key. Today, we're talking about Deadpool 2, Venom, Black Panther, Guardians of the Galaxy, and we're going to talk about a little bitty show called Iron Fist. Anyway, stay right there. We're going to be right back.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Marvel Movie News.
That's what I beat-bopped. Booped.
Beat-a-bopped yourself.
Is a beat-bop boop a skibbity-bop?
No, it's very different. It's different intentions.
Yeah.
You did it. You didn't have to tell us.
No, I know. That's why I'm laughing. I'm like, did I just ask you to define what I just did to you? Like, I didn't even do it to you. I was just like, I want a beat bop. So I beat bop booped myself.
There you go.
A beep it up, boo. All right, hey everybody. I guess you're here to listen to us talk about Marvel, not talk about me scat singing to myself. I forgot to set my timer.
You know, there's a diehard scat fan out there.
There is. I'm sure. Yeah, there's some person out there.
Scat fan?
Scat fan Carruthers, not Scatman Carruthers.
Oh,
there we go. All right, we are the Marvel Movie News. This is episode 123, coming to you live from the mystical city of Kunlun. I think they say Kunlun.
Kunlun.
Of Kunlun, where we tell you all the news from all those studios. Why you should be as excited as we are. Subscribe to us on iTunes at Marvel Movie News or find us at youtube.com/Popcorn Talk Network. Also on their website, popcorntalknetwork.com. Also on Twitter at Marvel News PTN or at the Popcorn Talk. We are also on Facebook.com/Marvel News Show. We should get better at Facebook. We do Twitter pretty well.
We do.
But
140
Facebook
characters, manageable.
Yeah, but Facebook is also a website that exists in the social media sphere.
You know, so does Snapchat eventually.
Oh man,
I couldn't do so. That's too much.
There is
I
too much.
barely do mine.
Yeah.
And I'm still figuring out Instagram, guys. Like I'm too old for this. Guys, if you tweet a link out to our show, with a message telling people about our show and that they can come watch it live and that they can participate in the live chat and talk at us. Hydra Steve in the booth he'll retweet you. Yeah, you'll get a special retweet from the Popcorn Talk Studios, and that's got to feel pretty good. Hydra Steve, how you doing? You good?
Heyo.
Hydra Steve, Hydra wife, Hydra Steve. So I know Coy loves it so much. I think Marquis is already tired of it, but Coy likes it. Yeah. I'm Matt Key at the Matt Key. We're also joined by Marquia McCarty at MarkeiAMCCarty. Yes, I'm getting better.
With cadence.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm trying to get down. I'm trying to get it down. And then we've got Coy Jandro at CoyJandreau. Yeah. See, I've been doing it for a year. Or a year and a half, maybe 2 years now.
2 years.
So I'm still getting years down. Just
okay.
Please don't be offended. We love you. Don't leave. Don't leave us, Marquia. Don't leave us.
I left because they couldn't get the cadence right. I'm out.
We've also got Oliver on social media. But he's not in the studio today. He's just outside helping us out.
Because
we've got some special guests on the Cosmic Couch. Darren Jax, Caroline Jax, and River Jax.
The fanciest cosmic couch we could ever ask for.
They came in and they were
so
like,
ready.
Isn't this amazing?
I was unprepared. I'm
not
gonna lie to you.
I was not ready. I was like, wow, Darren's wearing a suit and his Rivers she's got claws. Oh my God, they're in cosplay. And then his wife came in. Show them the whole thing.
For the scope.
Show them the whole thing.
This is fantastic.
Now take your hat off. Take the hat off because you're not bald. Like you guys are dedicated to this.
I was impressed with this, and then contacts, then bald cap, and I was just actually I was impressed with suit and claws, and then it just evolved.
Yeah.
For those that are watching live with us right now, they are dressed as Logan, X-23, and Caliban.
Yeah.
So, and that was like an immediate hug from me as soon as I saw Caliban. I was like, complete with eye awesomeness.
Now, let the record show they run the best spa I've ever been to. It's in Pasadena. They
do
not
got a
wear
great
claws
spa.
when they do that. I wanted to just preface, they look
this is the massage work that we do. Yeah.
Just deep pressure massages.
Deep tissue with 3 claws or 2.
To get all the tissue you never wanted to get.
Yeah.
It allows us to hit those spots that most people miss.
Sure, that's why it's a unique spa.
You may not survive it, but if you do, it feels great.
We'll tell everyone all about it.
But no, you guys really do have a great spa. Thank you for inviting us out.
Great energy there, and obviously awesome people.
Oh,
and you can talk comics. Well, that's the only massage I go to where I can actually geek out. Everybody else just kind of stares at me, and I'm like, Deadpool! What's weird Tourette's this guy on our table has?
So anyway, thank you for being super duper awesome fans of the show and of Marvel and coming in and gracing us with your wonderful presence.
Well, we love you guys. I mean, I've been watching the show for almost since the beginning. So
thank you for that.
It is
Appreciate
wonderful
that.
to be able to come in, and yeah, we get a reputation now. Is every time we've come in, we've started in costume. So now it's just it's like Marvel and Fox now with the X-Men. It's like each one is setting the bar higher and higher.
Yeah, you just keep going higher,
Every
man.
appearance.
Well,
This is certainly an annual.
Yeah.
This is a cover photo.
All right, so we also have Doom, who sent in a special
Yes.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. minute. He's going. I think he's going stir crazy not having S.H.I.E.L.D. to watch, and we've also got Colt Badeau tweeting from the Starjammer. Thank you, Colt. Here we go. Let's jump into it. As usual, as promised to Coy, if there's ever Deadpool news, I start with Deadpool and the rundown because that's the only way I can keep his attention for the entire show. So we've got Cable. The writers, Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, gave more than a few choice quotes
Yes,
this week.
really
we
good
have
quotes.
we have a lot of quotes to go through here. First, let's start with Cable. We have look at you pulling. You're like, ooh, yes. Let's get started.
relevant to my interests.
Yes, yes.
Oh.
We've got Cable casting traits and announcement coming soon. So, Rhett Reese, one of the two writers, says it is a short list of the actors on their for their Cable list. He also says an announcement will be coming very soon. We're going to go into production in the next couple of months, and casting announcements will be coming fast and furious. That was actually from Paul Wernick. And then Rhett Reese added to that, I think intimidating, scary, a great foil opposite the lunacy, someone with a great deadpan thing where they can react to someone who's being crazy. This is the list of traits for Cable. Someone who also has a spark of a sense of humor. This person has to be funny because they're buddying up with Reynolds and Deadpool, so they just themselves to be funny in a more serious way. So, I mean, there's a little bit more to it, but it's basically repeating the same thing.
So it's clearly Vin Diesel because he said both fast and furious in a
Wow,
sentence.
you
So,
can
let's
get
go ahead
out.
and say Matt Key confirms Vin
You-
Diesel
That
is Vin Diesel.
as Cable.
Nope.
You know what?
You can get
I
out.
don't mind it because I like Vin Diesel, but he'd be horrible. He would not be a great
He would
choice for
be
it.
I
I love
legitimately
Vin Diesel.
I legitimately do like Vin Diesel.
I just like normally.
It's
Yeah.
not whether
Yeah.
you time travel by an inch or a mile. Time traveling is time traveling. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what
Although
matters.
we would need we would need for it to be a British actor though, right? Because whenever there's time travel, everybody's British.
It's got to be British because only
Everybody's
the
got a
British
British
can
accent.
only the British
So
can
Clive
safely
Owen.
travel through
They
time.
mastered it.
Let's see. They also said of the Cable Deadpool dynamic, Ryan Reynolds plays Deadpool with a hint of femininity, and I think that can be funny opposite of Cable, who's uber masculine. That'll come into casting and performance and the character design and his wardrobe and things like that. I think we'll definitely play into that. So, Cable,
I've got a top
you.
choice.
I know you've got a top choice.
Who's your top choice? I
Oh,
didn't
but
hear
he's-
this. I know
he's-
you guys were
No,
discussing.
no,
Yeah, yeah.
no. I was. Here's what I know. You've got a top choice, and I know Coy is fantastic at Coy casting, fan casting.
Yeah.
But I want to start with you
Oh, okay. All right. So
because we always hear from Coy.
well, yeah,
Marquia.
we're gonna hear from Coy no matter what.
Yeah, no matter what. Even
Loud
if I
noises.
even if I told Coy to shut up, we would still hear from him. I would never say that though. Oh, stop! Just
oh no.
iTunes audience. He's climbing a mime.
No, he
hole,
was,
mime.
apparently.
he was
yeah.
in a cube of isolation.
Glass cage of emotion.
Yeah.
perhaps.
Glass cage of
Give us your casting.
Oh,
choice.
okay. So going by all of that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
can be scary, intimidating, but the deadpan thing obviously has to be a learned actor. It has a spark of sense of humor, and he's not
Uber
currently
masculine.
in anything. And uber masculine, Lawrence Fishburne,
Whoa!
right?
Whoa!
As Cable, him versus Ryan Reynolds, like that. Techno organic virus me, Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah, thank you, Jack's family.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's
That's
range in their ooze.
very inspired. Ooh and ah.
Yeah. I mean,
wow,
he's
you just melted my brain.
Right?
I
Is
love that
different?
idea.
Yes.
That is different, but like in the best way possible.
I can
and
see
I love
it.
it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's my top choice.
I like
Do you
it.
have any second or thirds?
Yes.
Should I have opened that door, or is this all we're going to talk about?
Well, depending if we go like a bit older, like we do
Mm-hmm.
an older Cable, also a learned actor, and I think would be able to bulk up for it if he hasn't already. I haven't
Sure.
seen him lately. Lance Henriksen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he has a range.
Not as sold, but
he's
not a bad
older.
choice. He's older,
Yeah,
sure.
he's older. And then if we want to go female, that could also be intimidating in a different kind of way. I like Michelle Yeoh.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's the right age for it to be Cable. She is an impressive fighter. She can carry a movie. She has the range. And I think we could like Furiosa her.
Does
like
she
they
have
were
the sense of
chosen.
humor?
Oh yeah. Oh, have you seen her in the Jackie Chan movies?
Have not.
She's got sense of humor happening through body language along with actually being able to emote.
Okay.
So different choices for y'all
no,
than like
and I
Stephen
very,
Lang, Ron
no,
Perlman,
and I legit love that. You blew my mind with Fishburne.
Mm-hmm.
Like he would be great.
Perfect.
He would be perfect for it.
He would be perfect, and he's not in Black Panther right now, so let's have him as Cable.
Yeah, may as well throw him in as
He
Cable.
knows
Yeah.
Kung Fu. Yeah, I'm into it.
So-
my go-to new one is still, I love the idea of Nathan Fillion just because of their history. I love his size. He's just the greatest guy. I still want Michael Biehn. I love that man for it because he's got the military experience.
Yeah.
He has a gravitas. He's the right age, but he also has a youthfulness where he could play it for like 4 or 5 movies. Like
Sure.
I'd worry about someone that any older than that because of just like, you gotta
Sure.
it's all around. And I like his look for it. And at the end of the day, I will always want Mel Gibson. Not just because it's Mel Gibson. This isn't a Ben Foster scenario. That man would be such a good rough and tumble. He's got a militariness to him. He's got an aggression. He's got a very weird sense of humor. He looks like Old Man Logan. I love the man for Cable. He's a little short, but he's got the physicality.
All right. All right.
So it's not just a blind pitch.
I've been hooked on David Harbour, the sheriff from Stranger Things.
Yeah.
since
Once
they
that was a
announced it.
rumor, I love that idea.
Once that was a rumor, I was like, well, I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah, I feel like I
But now
can't-
you've got me on Lawrence Fishburne, and now I kind of actually really want to.
I feel like the
see
David
that.
Harbour, Scott
What
Lang
about
thing.
Kurt Russell?
Kurt Russell?
I love Kurt.
I do love Kurt Russell.
And he's older.
If he wasn't
He
already
did the soldier
Ego.
Yeah, he's so deep in like Guardians for my brain that I didn't even know.
Oh,
Yeah,
how
that's
to go
the
there.
reason.
Yeah.
He is a living planet now.
That's right.
Which
Never mind.
we
Yeah, but
have.
still
We'll be talking about
Can't
that
go
later.
Mm-hmm.
As Ego. Do you guys have any other casting choices? Jack's
Well, I
family?
mean, I always like the Ron Perlman idea. I mean, just he's got
Yeah.
that look. I know Pierce Brosnan's name popped up, and that's kind of an interesting
That's an
idea.
interesting one. I'm so not sold on it.
But
though.
honestly,
I really wanna
the
be.
minute you mentioned Fishburne, I don't see anyone else now. I'm like, do the Nick Fury thing? Just
Yeah.
change him over
Change
completely.
it. Do it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Broaden things out, and he would be so perfect. He has
He'd be
that.
a great because of the actor.
Yeah.
He would be so good.
And he's got such good range within him too. I mean, he'd be able to play that straight man. I think to Deadpool like.
Oh, he'd be
beautifully.
he'd be great at it. And he does have comedy chops.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The live chat brought up one that I somehow never thought of, and I love the man. Ray Stevenson would be great.
Who was that?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Who did Blackbeard on
Black Sails?
On Black Sails.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
missed that show.
Yeah, I didn't see that one.
It's good stuff.
Oh,
yeah, I
yeah.
think Ray Stevenson, good call. Good call. live
All right,
chat.
let me before we move over to Venom.
What's yours?
Oh, I said David Harbour.
Oh, that's right.
I said David Harbour. And can I just throw this out? Here's one of the reasons I love the idea of David Harbour. He has been he's been in so much,
Right.
but he's one of those actors who he's like, oh, he's good. I like this guy. But then he hits Stranger Things, and it's like,
oh, the sheriff guy.
Oh, this guy. Oh, this. So I would love to see this guy's career just be like, oh, by the way, boom, now you're Cable and you're leading a giant franchise. Like,
Yeah.
I just think that would be awesome. But
Also,
now,
I love his work on Newsroom and him exploding into Stranger Things. Like,
Yeah.
he's been one
Yeah.
of those actors I've
Yeah.
liked for a while. I'd love that.
yeah. So now it's between David Harbour and Fishburne. Like, you got me. You like floored me on that one. I've never even thought about that. All right, real quick on Deadpool. Still talking about it. Rhett Reese, the writer, also teased new obscure characters in Deadpool 2. I think this is, something that we kind of probably already more or less guessed at. But that being said, the quote is, yeah, Cable and Domino grabbed the headlines on Deadpool, but there are definitely some more obscure characters that people know or that real diehards know that will be in there just by virtue of we need a new villain and we need some new good guys to complement Deadpool. But it's growing. Of course, it will be about the lunacy about Deadpool himself. So
Yeah.
let me pose the question. Obscure characters that Fox owns the rights to. Who would you love to see all of a sudden appearing in Deadpool? Either hero or villain.
Ooh, I didn't even think of this.
Can I throw one out?
Yeah.
Chamber.
Chamber would be so much fun for me.
Right?
I can't even
And that would
imagine.
be so weird for Deadpool to play like this dude who has like a supernova in
A
his
psionic voice.
Right.
like what is
Like,
going on
yeah.
there? Like that would that would
Well-
be like a tough effect unless he kind of covered it up. Like that would be an expensive character to have. But
Well, is it like just completely assumed that they're going to have strife?
no. None
Well,
of
did
it's,
I say that one? I mean, how can you have...
that is actually not a bad idea
Yeah.
to like play
It's
with
like
that.
the
and have-
most 90s. Like Cable's already super 90s, then Strife is like, and evil
Hey.
Cable, which is such a 90s move to have. Like, and the bad one.
Yeah.
Like, haha.
I like some of the weird new, like Warlock could be fun. Like that
Oh,
crazy.
oh,
Okay.
whoa!
Right? Like
that
if we're
would
gonna, because
be
he could only be introduced
weird.
in Deadpool. Like you
Yeah.
could, I'm thinking character that literally could only
Okay.
live in this universe, not in an X-Men movie. So like Warlock Chamber, I love. I think it'd be fun to introduce Husk, because like Deadpool would freak out about her
Oh my
like Husk.
gosh.
Like I'm thinking like the
Yeah.
weird ones that are
Yeah,
like.
no, you're like going Generation X.
Yeah. Empath
Ooh.
would be fun. M.
You know who else would be fun? Random. Do you remember
Random
Random?
would be great.
Do you remember Random?
No.
He was this weird gray hulking dude
And his hands.
whose hands he could change into a variety of weapons. Like he
The
could change
Like
them
he
in-
was Terminator 2? Was it the T-3000?
ish, but only his arms, and his arms were very like plasticine, and he could change them into blades or guns
stabby weapons?
or
gu-
guns.
Wait.
Yeah, no, I know,
Wait.
I know.
Where does he
I
get
know.
the bullets from?
I don't know.
Is it like gallstones?
It's a mystical, magical mutant power. but here's how I quit. Here's how I think of Random. Even when I was a kid, this is how I thought of him. That the comic, I think he was probably created by Rob Liefeld. He's a total.
Oh yeah, he's a Liefeld creation.
If he wasn't a Rob Liefeld, like, I don't like. There's no other better person to invent this character than Rob Liefeld. I would be surprised if it wasn't Rob Liefeld. But I remember. Okay. When I was a kid, one of my favorite things to do would be like to put paper towel tubes on my arm and pretend that I had tank arms.
That's why you like
Okay.
Random. This explains a lot. This
And,
explains a
like-
whole lot.
And like I feel like
He's that
the
guy.
person who invented
Definitely
Random
did that.
also
Yeah.
did that. So like I feel like Random was like Rob Liefeld's 10-year-old self going, "This would be awesome."
I hope that someone's kid just walked by doing that and he was like, mutant.
Yeah. So like and Random would be
much
fun.
like Warlock could only be introduced there.
Yeah,
those characters, the weird ones, the ones that we both love Jamie Madrox. I'd love to see Multiple Man in
Oh
something.
God, I would love to see Multiple Man, but he deserves his own. He deserves like an FX series with what they're doing with Legion.
Yeah.
That's
give,
amazing.
Give Multiple Man his own FX
Yeah,
series.
Twitter. We Legion. I figure after Iron Fist, we can be able to dive into Legion more. Like in general, Iron
Yeah.
Fist was
Yeah.
just like the Netflix, but Legion, I definitely want to talk about more.
Yeah,
often,
yeah,
but-
we'll
but
talk about that.
It's just like
next week.
yeah.
Oof.
So we don't
good.
forget Legion Twitter.
Yeah,
posts.
we haven't forgotten it. We're just gonna save it for probably like a special episode.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Not a special episode, but
when we
like,
have the capacity.
the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Because
Talk
we
about the whole
realize that
thing
we
and-
will be talking about Iron Fist. We will give it time. I know
Yep,
that
yep,
that was a
yep,
complaint
yep.
before with Logan.
So let's move on.
yeah,
that
random
sound good?
mutants. There's a lot of them.
Yep.
Yep.
Venom. Venom news. We're getting Venom. That's the news. We're getting Venom.
Yeah.
Next year.
Yeah.
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 2018.
Next year, October 5th.
Now,
Next year.
I tweeted something, and I hope it's true, and I hope I theorized a thing,
Yeah.
and it'd be the greatest thing in the world for
Mm-hmm.
me. What if Life is a backdoor pilot prequel
I
for
don't think it
Venom?
is. I think it would be amazing, but I don't think it is.
What if
I don't
they
think it
pulled
is.
a spoiler alert for a decent film in theaters right now? Spoiler, split ending where the end is literally a
Okay,
thing.
but you don't have to say specifically what the ending is.
I didn't. I'm not. I won't.
Okay.
I won't. I was gonna
Okay.
do that.
All right, cool.
If it does a thing where they literally set up an entire franchise from a moment and it's tied beautifully because the writers of Life wrote a Venom draft. The
Oh, no, I know.
The writers of Life
Yeah, Paul Wernick and Rhett Reese.
are involved in
Yeah.
that world, and it features an alien coming from space.
Yeah, but he's coming from Mars. That means Venom is Martian.
That's almost better than him coming from nowhere and not being tied to Spider-Man in any way. Because that's what they're doing next year, apparently.
So
and so
it's
Joey
a dream.
Harrison, that answers your question. He said this.
Oh, did he?
question.
Did he
Yeah,
answer-
he's like, how do you
Hi,
y'all
Joey
feel about
Harrison.
that?
I don't think that's gonna happen. I think that'd be
I don't
amazing.
think it's gonna happen.
I
I'm
think that'd be
saying
amazing.
it's my dream.
And the writers, by the way, they were asked specifically about this at South by Southwest, and they said they didn't deny it. So like that just added even more fuel to the fire. But I think they also knew what they were doing.
What happened was they announced the movie Venom while I was watching a Life trailer. Like I just happened to be
Yeah.
like Life was on, and I was like,
Wait,
You're like,
what?
yeah.
And then I
my
hoped, and
world.
ever
Yeah.
since I've been just like dreaming.
Before we get too much more into Venom, I just want to say we mentioned Legion, and Alan Sisler is watching our show. He texted me going, "I'm in for Legion." So Alan, we'll
have
definitely
Alan
have
in.
you in.
Yeah, so
I
Matt
love
Key
Alan.
confirms we'll have Alan on. For the...
That I can confirm. I can confirm things on my own show. Yeah.
Oh, that's fair.
So Venom also brought on 2 screenwriters. This is according to Exhibitor Relations. They are now working with Scott Rosenberg and Jeff Pinkner, who are brainstorming ideas for the film. So there's that.
Yeah,
I'm
cool.
scared they're
Cool.
brainstorming ideas a year out.
Yeah.
Should they not
So-
have ideas?
No, they're brainstorming, whatever.
Doesn't take that long to make a movie.
Before we move on, I want to say, here's what I think they're doing with Venom. It's going to be completely separate from Spider-Man. It's going to be Sony's rated R Spider-Man. Because Sony is like, ooh, we need to get into the rated R superhero game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
They could
exactly
do
what
that.
this is.
It literally,
And that's why
what
it's
the comics became.
completely separate from the Avengers franchise. They're like, well, we don't need to tie it into the Avengers. We want to do our own thing. We want it to be a rated R film because that's what Fox is doing, and they've had wild success, and audiences want that. But we can't make Spider-Man rated R.
We could
So,
make
Venom.
Carnage.
Exactly.
Talk about an
That might be the
R-rated
only
film.
way I get Carnage.
My guess.
Wow.
You stole it right from me. That's gonna be the movie.
Well, that's how you do it. Like,
Yeah.
you can't put that. Tom Holland,
Do it.
Spider-Man, and Carnage don't exist in the same universe.
Yeah.
And
They
that's, I have to
can't.
accept
Yeah.
that.
They can't.
But Venom as Lethal Protector, the 90s R-rated,
Mm-hmm.
fun, like, hijack, I'm in. I just hope it starts with life.
It will not. Let's move on. Chris
Life
Evans.
finds a way. Life finds a way.
I knew it was. I felt it. I felt it.
You can
do
get
that.
out. Darren, will you please claw him and then take his seat? Thank you.
Hey, we didn't
Actually, you know what? River, you do it. River, come up here.
She's pretty proficient at it. He's not
Yeah.
gonna claw stuck in me. Yeah, that's fair.
Gotta get the other one out. Hold on, just one.
I'd like to go painlessly. I'll have X-23 handle it.
Yeah. She'll kick you. So Chris Evans might be done with Captain America after Avengers Infinity War, which I don't think any of us are surprised to hear.
Totally understand. Totally understand. That's a lot of your life.
Yeah, man.
That's a lot
Yep.
of your life that happened, and you're an actor. You want to do other
Yeah,
things.
yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, he
I mean,
probably
he's
wants
been
to
doing it for
produce,
like
direct,
8
who
years,
knows?
9 years now. I know he wants to direct, and he is. I read that entire. So this is coming from an article he did in Esquire, and he did not I will caution, like he himself did not say this. Evans did not say, "I'm done with Captain America. Let's go surfing, guys." Like he didn't say that. I don't know why I
That's
threw that
good.
in. Yeah.
Think Chris Evans is a surfer dude?
I'm glad Chris Evans didn't do
I was
like,
making fun of my
"Brah."
own voice because I was like, "I'm done, Kevin." I was like, "Why am I a surfer all of a sudden?"
I just gotta catch some waves, bro. I don't have time for the shield when I got my board.
Listen, bro, I gotta catch some waves.
See these baby blues? They long for the ocean.
Chris Evans, I know you're watching this show, and
We're
I
sorry.
know that. Please know, I'm not saying that you're a surfer because I don't. And maybe you are, and there's nothing wrong with being a surfer. You're not a
There's
stereotype.
nothing wrong with
oh,
that.
oh, what? I'm digging the hole deeper. Stop it. It was the writer of the article who suggested, saying that here's the full quote that led up to this. Settling in on the couch, Evans groans. Evans explains that he's hurting all over because he just started his workout routine the day before to get into shape for the next 2 Captain America films. The movies will be shot back to back beginning in April. After that, no more red, white, and blue costume for the 35-year-old. He will have fulfilled his contract.
This reviewer is very inquisitive.
I know.
Very soft-spoken. I can
Yeah.
tell. A lot of thinking he does.
Like
Yeah,
I
lots of
needed
thinking.
some popcorn. It's like a film noir. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, what's gonna happen
Just
next?
imagine the blinds.
Corncob
Yeah.
pipe.
Markia, you're adorable when you eat popcorn. You're adorable. Yum, 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 yum. Delicious.
I think Evans, much like Downey Jr., has made a character greater than its original like pieces. Like
Agreed.
I always liked Cap,
Yeah.
but I never read Cap. I never loved Cap. Like Chris Evans made Captain America three-dimensional for me.
We have not talked about comics this entire show. Ed Brubaker. If you haven't read Captain America by Ed Brubaker, go do that. You're doing yourself a disservice. Go do that. But I really feel that Chris Evans channeled the Brubaker.
Oh, absolutely.
Cap.
And he
Like,
made the
yeah.
character have more dimensions than a lot of the writers ever do. And,
Yeah.
and I will always thank Chris Evans for making Cap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if he's
And
done, he's earned it.
He embodies some of the morality that Captain America does,
Mm-hmm.
and just like everyday real life, which I
Yeah.
really appreciate.
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
do.
I
Really,
love
really
that he
does.
won't be quiet on Twitter. I love that he won't
Yeah.
let a giant. He's literally the face of America, and he will not let that keep him from being America.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You got something you want to throw in about Chris Evans?
Well, same thing. I was never a big, huge Captain America fan. I liked him, but I think Chris Evans, his character, I mean, first, his 2 solo films, the latest 2, I think, are some of the top that Marvel has done. Both
That would be Winter Soldier and Civil War?
Right.
War. But I don't think he's going to leave. I think he's going to do something like Downey did and just renegotiate contracts because he wants to direct.
Yeah.
And he has Disney wanting him to be in films.
Yeah.
That's a deal right there. Sure, I'll do, I'll go and do these couple extra films that aren't my own films, that are group films. And then I want to direct these projects, and you guys are going to bankroll them for me.
That's not a bad...
That would probably be the smartest, I think, position he could do, because it's a great character. It will pay his bills. He will get lots of demand for it. But then he could have the maneuvering room to be able to do the smaller projects that he probably wants to do without having to worry about paychecks and affordability and all of that thing.
Yeah, that's not.
Great point.
I can get on board with that.
And I think he's got the 2 best Marvel. I mean, arguably 2 of the best Marvel movies, Winter Soldier and Civil War, are among the top 4. Whatever you think, those are probably in there in your list as well. So I think at this point they want him to do as much as possible. So I think he's already directed 2 or one thing going on in the second. So I think it's a great leverage. I just want him to retire when it feels right, like we got Hugh Jackman too. I want to make sure he's not doing it past his prime.
Well, and again, I want to point out that we're coming up on Phase 4, like Avengers Infinity, like the second Infinity War film, whatever that actually ends up being.
Right.
Battle World.
What's that?
Battle World.
Battle World.
Battle World.
Secret Wars 2 by Jonathan Hickman. That's what they'll... Avengers. Secret Wars 2 by Jonathan Hickman. Yeah. The Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars, not the first one from '85. No, not that one. But
That's a really long tagline.
What is it? Hold on.
This cast is huge.
Jonathan Hickman. Why do I care about this? So I think that Phase 4 is important to keep in mind because they're also going to lose, start losing Hemsworth, Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson. All those contracts are coming due. I think they're going to have to change in a whole completely new direction, and I think probably the last 2 Avengers films will address how they transition over into something new.
I'm
and different.
excited.
So,
and we've alluded to that for interviews for the last 5 years. Been like, so Chris Evans is done. It's been a long time coming.
It's been a long time coming. So this news wasn't it didn't floor me. I didn't pass out and crash my car. So,
well, that's good.
Yeah,
Cindy being more like Doctor Strange. Glad you pulled through.
Well done, sir. Well
Nice.
done.
He's
you can
on fire
you can
today.
stay. You can stay. You don't have to get out. You can stay. I'm gonna let you back in. Black Panther.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you reminded me about this news because we talked about it.
Right.
We did.
We talked about it on
we
Screen
talked about it on
Junkies.
Screen Junkies.
Yeah.
I am a busy man, Marky. I
Okay.
can't think of it. I don't remember things anymore. I'm getting old. I'm getting real old. Black Panther news. Daniel Kaluuya said of the film, and this is in an interview that he gave to GQ. This is an African blockbuster. This is like Game of Thrones. This is crazy. That's the first quote that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
But I do want to throw in that I think this is really cool. Ryan Coogler is just, man, he's like us. He's a normal dude in a Golden State hat and a Tupac t-shirt directing the whole set. It's the most beautiful thing to see. That excites me to no end.
He's not a Biggie guy. It excites me too. I'm glad he's a Tupac because I'm much more of a Tupac guy. So I agree.
All right, you're back on the get out. You're back on the get out.
I'm just saying I wanted to know which side of the gang war you fell on, and now I know.
I don't fall on either side. I fall on the side of peace.
Oh,
boy.
okay. Well, between Bloods and Crips, I'm glad I know it.
I fall on the side of let's have both.
Well, Wakanda's
Okay,
clearly
so
a Tupac
more of
nation.
a Marley then.
Yeah, sure. I'll side with Marley, thanks.
Yeah.
I just know Wakanda's a Tupac nation now, and I'm happy about it. That's all I wanted to know.
All right, good to know. Okay. But the Game of Thrones is what I want to highlight.
Yeah.
Because I think that's interesting. So what we have, I don't have the quote in front of me. I don't have it. Kevin Feige said that he referred to it as a geopolitical action adventure. This is back, I think, in December. I think maybe Empire.
Yeah.
Now we've got Daniel Kaluuya saying it's Game of Thrones. I think we can infer a few things from this.
Yes.
From these 2 quotes.
Yeah, not so much the incest. That's not.
Yeah, not the inappropriate brother, sister,
we're not
sibling
talking about
relationships.
that. No, just like the political action.
Sure.
Yes.
Do you want to take this and run?
Actions. Well, there's a number of things of why he would think like that. There's a lot of different just like with Game of Thrones, how there's like different factions. I'm going to use that term, factions,
Mm-hmm.
for that. For Game of Thrones, where you have the Wildlings, you have
Mm-hmm.
the Starks, you have Foresters if you play the game. So like with Black Panther, there's a lot of different factions. There's like the White Gorilla cult. There's
Mm-hmm.
the Lion cult. There's Crocodile cult. Yeah, the Lion cult is Suckmeat, and Sobek is the head of Crocodile cult. But they have M'Baku in there with the White Gorilla cult.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and there's all these shifting pieces, and not even starting about outside influences.
Yeah.
Like Moreland. I doubt that's going to be in here.
I think that probably actually belongs to Spider-Man. I think they would probably keep
Okay,
him
I might have
there,
said
but-
the wrong.
Morlun, the guy who captures the animal essences, the what are those called? The
Totems.
totems. Thank
Totems.
you. Yeah.
Okay, well then let's say a Shibe, and you've got Eric Killmonger.
If they
There's all
didn't have a
these
Shiba in there, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, there's all these shifting alliances, all this shift for power, and with that's very Game of Thrones. That's
Yeah.
that, and it's just expansive.
Yeah.
I mean, what Wakanda is this, one country in Africa, but there's so much intrigue there.
Yeah, there's a lot of tribal fights that kind of go on. There's some battles that go on, some tiny little civil war like within the country kind of things.
Yes.
We've got M'Baku being played by Winston Duke.
Right.
M'Baku also is known as Man Ape, and he comes from the White Gorilla cult.
Yeah.
I think his first appearance was actually in Avengers.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't remember. Anyway, early on in the Avengers, like around 79 or something. Then we've also got Eric Killmonger, who's being played by Michael B. Jordan,
Yes, that's going to be awesome.
which is, I just don't even, I can't. Like, I just don't even, can't.
He's who
Yes.
outlined for Black Panther. So I like Chadwick now
Yeah.
that I know. I didn't
Yeah.
have as much exposure
Sure.
to him, but now that he's the cast as the antagonist, I can't
Yeah.
be more happy. My first
Yeah.
thought when I heard Game of Thrones was that basically the throne was the mantle of Black Panther. Like
Yeah.
as soon as I
Yes,
heard it, I
I
thought
see.
over like them fighting for the mantle of Black Panther because it's hereditary and it's a powerful position, but it's also a position you have to earn and you have to fight for, and people like lobby for it. So for me, the Game of Thrones analogy became a Panther power play.
Yeah.
So all these characters, all these factions fighting for one supreme leadership felt like very Game of Thronesy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I totally agree. I think with T'Chaka gone, I think that's going to immediately create
Vacuum.
sort of like a power vacuum. It doesn't need to be there because like Prince T'Challa's there, so he should be able to immediately inherit the throne. But I do think that Killmonger and M'Baku will see this and be like, no, we do not like the Panther clan's rule. We should be in charge. And I think that they're gonna challenge Black Panther essentially for the throne, which happens in the comics.
Yeah.
Often.
And in fact, Killmonger actually is Black Panther
Yeah.
for a little bit.
That was in the
until-
Christopher Priest run, right?
I'm not certain.
I think it was like early 2000s. I think it was
Okay.
the Christopher Priest run. I
Yeah,
might
he
be
didn't.
wrong.
He didn't have it for long, but he had it.
Yeah.
So there's that. And then also another nice parallel is Shuri, who is not on the IMDb page, who I would have loved to
Man,
have been
I would
on the
lo- I would love
IMDb
Shuri
page.
to be in
like
this.
she's like the Arya for Game of Thrones. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
that. I can get behind that.
It's like it's destiny. It will happen no matter what.
All right, let's move on. Guardians. Let's see. But before we get to Iron Fist, we still have Guardians and that's
Do you
it.
have any
That's
the
it.
live reads?
Oh, we have the live reads. I've got that.
Okay.
That's later. James Gunn said, "Ego the Living Planet is the biggest visual effect ever."
Wow.
It's a very large claim. Here's the exact quote. This is on Empire Online. By the way, there's a new article of Empire coming out this week, and apparently the cover story is Guardians. So, like, I think you can look for that on Thursday or Friday. There'll probably be some fun new reveals in that. And we'll be talking about that next week if there are. But we do have this little preview. The quote from James Gunn is, "We have over 1 trillion polygons on Ego's planet. It's the biggest visual effect of all time. There's nothing even close to it, which is cool."
I
don't know why, like, I'm making fun of James Gunn. I love James Gunn. Like,
Every
I don't
voice
know.
today. Chris Evans, the surfer. James Gunn, the weird like Wall Street guy. Voiceover
Wall
guy,
Street
John
guy.
Hickman.
Yeah.
I
I'm so bad at voices. I
have
should
never
just
heard
stop.
trillion used
Yeah,
literally.
trillion.
I've only heard it like figuratively and like
Sure.
$1 trillion. A trillion. What?
So let me throw this out here. We're looking at this picture right now. These pictures were all chosen on purpose by me.
Okay.
Because the same image that Empire Online, the article on Empire Online referenced the fractal art of an artist named Hal Tenney, Tenny. So I was like, well, who's this Hal Tenney guy? I'm going to go look up this Hal Tenney guy. He's apparently like one of the foremost fractal artists. I don't even fully know what that means.
A lot of acid.
Nice.
Yeah, probably so. But they said that they referenced him as one of the main concept artists helping create Ego. So I went and looked up his DeviantArt page and another page. Let me see. I wrote it down here. Fine Art America.
For those that are not watching live, the first picture was it was Gamora and Star-Lord standing on a balcony, stretched out, holding each other's hands, and there's this epic
dancing.
landscape.
Yeah,
they're dancing. There's this epic landscape behind them.
Yeah,
or in front of them.
And then let's move on to the next picture real quick. Where again, thank you, Markia, for the iTunes listeners who can't see the image. We're looking at like the big, broad expanse of a planet, and you've seen it in the trailer. All of these images came from the trailer. And
It's very
the ship is
luscious.
is landing down. This is the planet where like those floating bubbles are happening and everything. Anyway, so he pointed to this artist Hal Tenney pointed to these images as being inspired by his fractal art.
Nice.
So I came to the conclusion, this is just me doing some sleuthing on my own. I came to the conclusion that if he is pointing at these images and saying, this is all fractal art, and we also know that he was the concept artist who helped on Ego, we can all make a pretty safe assumption that this is all Ego.
Ooh, yes. Yes, we
So
could.
right now we're looking at that picture that happens at the very end of the trailer, right before Mantis gets hit by the debris. And Drax has this funny line like, I tried to help her. Did you guys, I tried to warn her, whatever that line was. That apparently happens on Ego. At least this is the conclusion I'm drawing. Like,
Which makes sense that Ego
you know.
would be sentient enough to attack, and that's funny.
Yeah.
Especially in that comedy moment.
Yeah.
And it makes sense that we have a trillion polygons if it's an entire like set location.
Yeah.
Which means like all of Ego is a green screen, and then they had to render it, which is banana sandwich.
Yeah. So do yourself a favor. If you want to get a preview of what some of Ego may end up looking like, some of the environments may look like on Ego and the planet himself, and how the mouth is going to move, whatever else, if that even exists, go check out, go Google Hal Tenney. It's H-A-L is the first name, last name is T-E-N-N-Y. And I think that you'll see some pretty cool stuff. Like I said, I went to his DeviantArt page. That's where I pulled all this stuff. And then he also has fineartamerica.com. He has a profile there where he has a lot of his own images. I forgot to pull his work.
Right.
But it's
But
all
they can
it's,
find that.
You can go look that up. You're gonna appreciate what you see, and you're immediately going to see. Oh, I have actually seen all of this concept art in the trailer and didn't know it.
Nice.
Like it's all like, whoa, okay, that's really cool. So anyway, so let's move on real quick. James Gunn teases his involvement in Infinity War, saying he's been heavily involved with what the Guardians are doing in Infinity War, and he gave the Russo brothers, tons of advice on how to direct the actors, talked to them a lot during shooting, and talked to the actors a lot during the shooting. So that's exciting. And he also, here's another big one for Guardians of the Galaxy. He hints that Sylvester Stallone's role. And we also just found out that Michael Rosenbaum is in the film. Did we know that?
No, we
No,
didn't,
we
and I'm so
didn't.
excited, man.
I liked him in
all of
Smallville.
Smallville, mainly for Michael Rosenbaum. When he left, real sad.
Yeah.
Michael Rosenbaum is incredible. He's such a funny comedian. He's got so much good work beyond just Smallville. Like, go watch Sorority Boys. You should.
Yeah. I like
he's
the
great.
tweet that he sent about that. Where he's
Wait,
like,
did he? I didn't see the tweet.
oh
What was
no,
the tweet?
James, where he said like, what's the use of having a friend that can that won't cast you in my huge action blockbuster.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Something
That's
like
fair.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because him and James Gunn are like homies, like
Yeah.
as far as hangout friendsies. So
Yeah.
I was hoping much like Jimmy Uringer from Mindless of Indulgence got in
Yeah.
the movie. Like I love that James Gunn just has awesome friends that he can put in the Guardians.
So awesome. So here's the quote. This was on the Adam Carolla podcast. James Gunn talking to him said, "We do have a couple characters who are very important to the Marvel Universe who are going to be making their debut in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which people don't know about. Sylvester Stallone plays one of these characters." And he also added, "I will say that my friend Michael Rosenbaum also has a pretty decent role in the movie as well, and it sort of works in tandem with Sly's character." He later on said, "I think people will find out very, very soon. Look for clues and you will find out the character Sylvester Stallone plays." I don't actually know what that means, but
I have no idea. I just know that I'm excited to see Stallone and Rosenbaum playing off each
yeah.
other.
So I put my thinking cap on,
Okay.
and I think and I talked about this on Screen Junkies, but I also want to talk about it on this show because this is our show.
Yeah.
I think Stallone. So when I saw the footage at Comic-Con, they showed like 3/4 of a second of Stallone turning around, looking really mad, and dressed in a Nova Corps outfit. So I think, unless he's imitating a Nova Corps officer or is a shapeshifter and can do that, which I don't think he is, I think that it's entirely possible that he is the original Nova, Richard Rider,
Okay.
or that he is Jesse Alexander, the father to Sam Alexander, who goes on to become one of the last remaining Nova members. And that, that's my favorite option for that.
If Rosenbaum's a Nova Corps, if he becomes Nova in if there's a Michael Rosenbaum Nova movie, I will lose my mind. That sounds like heaven.
Yeah.
Because he's so funny, and he's like, he's
He would
young
be-
enough to play it for a long time, and he's like, yeah, yes, please.
Yeah. I don't think that he is.
I would like that.
I know. I'm hearing that.
But
I'm
like,
hearing
if
that.
Stallone is like the elder and he is the younger, please.
But
I find it really interesting that whenever we're doing our casting, the first thing we're like is like, yeah, they'll be doing this for 8 years. Like that's like a definite.
that's we
It's
just accept
no
that as
standalone.
baseline. That's a baseline. This is a cinematic universe. This doesn't exist any other way. And again, I don't know that Richard Rider is necessary. But here's what I think would be cool if Stallone was either Jesse Alexander or Richard Rider. It would be cool because it would establish that humans have been in space for a lot longer, and that opens up so many more possible storytelling options. Like we can even sort of like go back to before Guardians. We can go back and tell stories that happened before
you mean
Thanos and stuff like that. You know,
galaxy far, far away,
yeah,
a long time ago.
That's what I'm trying to do. Disney is bringing the Nova into Star
I hear
Wars.
prequels in space do very well. I hear they're well written. I hear they're often
All right,
a
you
lot
can-
of
Yeah.
You can come
Yeah,
back in. You can come
Yes.
back in. You are back and forth today, sir.
a lot
You
of
are
just
back and
spaghetti at
forth.
the wall. Something works.
I really honestly think that it would be cool to bring in Sam Alexander as a young Nova, like with his dad being Stallone. That's awesome. Like
think
I
that's
would
pretty
love that.
cool.
And it would be great to get a Hispanic like superhero in this universe.
That would be great. You know, someone besides, no, I guess that's like Fox. What was his name? Richter.
Richter?
From Logan.
From Logan at the end.
At the end?
Yeah.
I don't know the actor's name.
Oh, but I mean, like,
But yeah.
he's, yeah.
Someone
he would be
who's
a
more than
Hispanic
just like
superhero.
you were in the film for like 5 minutes and you did some awesome stuff, but here's a
Exactly.
franchise. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, I would like that too. And it's necessary. For Michael Rosenbaum, here's my idea. I don't know if you guys remember this. Maybe a month ago, there was a new rumor. I don't even know if we covered it on the show because I was just like, whatever. But now, paying a little bit more attention with Michael Rosenbaum all of a sudden involved, Marvel Legends released their preview of their Guardians toy line. And in that was Darkhawk. And everyone was like, oh my God, is Darkhawk in the movie? And everyone was like, no, Darkhawk's not in the movie. It's just a toy. But now we're finding out Michael Rosenbaum is in the movie. So Darkhawk starts off as a street level fighter, but eventually they discover what's his name? Chris Powell, right?
Yeah.
Christopher Powell.
Dude, Darkhawk.
He discovers that he can go to space and survive in space in this android form. So Darkhawk, I'm getting way ahead of myself.
Dude.
Darkhawk.
Yeah.
A boy named Christopher Powell discovers the Darkhawk crystal and discovers that he can he can transfer his consciousness into this giant android body that's really badass and can do a lot of awesome fighting.
Right.
And it can survive in space. Anyway.
Dude, I'm losing the idea of like him. Then like Night Thrasher comes in because why not? And,
Sure,
like,
why not? Night Thrasher in space.
The 90s.
I just like everything in space.
In space. One of James Gunn's favorite characters is Rom Space Knight. I doubt that Michael Rosenbaum is playing Rom the Space Knight, but why not? Why not? But if we wanted to say that he was important to the Marvel Universe, which is the quote, he said he's important to the Marvel Universe, maybe he's establishing these two characters for later on with Infinity War. Maybe they actually show up in Infinity War to help fight Thanos. That's why they're important.
Ooh,
And if
okay.
that's the case, they would probably be cosmic elders. And it would be fun to see Michael Rosenbaum as someone like in betweener.
Yeah. and all that great Jeff Goldblum get up, like he like a regal.
Yeah, that was looking pretty snazzy actually. I like it. I like the one that you have here, the gardener. I think that'd be perfect.
The Gardener, by the way, is one of my favorite cosmic elders. He has a garden. He has a cosmic garden with
Yeah.
He has a cosmic garden, and in that cosmic garden, he has every bit of foliage that's ever existed in the history of the universe. Every bit. And he watches it all himself. You want to know how he does it? He has the time stone. Doesn't even know it. He doesn't even know that he has the time stone. He just has it, and he's like, I happen to have a green thumb. And then Thanos comes in the Thanos quest, and he's like, it's not the green thumb that you have, it's the time stone, and you're able to manipulate all these things to live.
The most mundane use of the time stone
yeah.
possible. Like, yo, I got them leaves, son.
I love it.
Anytime I stumble across a
love it.
character that, like, I'm like, that guy, it's like Matt's favorite.
Yep.
He's like Bulldog's obscure gardening characters.
That would make him a very important part of the Marvel universe.
Oh,
Yep.
man.
It would.
Even, but
and that's
we've
something
already.
you'd cast your friend as.
Gardener's got a garden, bro. And you just got to do it forever.
But by the way, there's also a cosmic elder named the Runner. You know what his? You know what he does?
What does he do?
He
What could he
runs.
possibly? Wow.
He
Michael
runs.
Rosenbaum was almost a Flash. They got real
runs.
close, so maybe he can play the
runs.
Flash after all.
You know what he actually? You know what? He's actually not running though. You know what he
It's
actually
just
has?
speed walking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he speed walks. Yeah, he's in a target. He just speed walks around a target. You know what he? You know what stone he has?
I don't know which one.
The Space Stone. It's not actually running fast. He can just transport himself across the entire universe, and he himself is like, I'm running very fast. But Thanos is like, no, you're not.
No, you're not.
You have the Space Stone, bro.
It's the weirdest use of. Oh, yeah.
Well-
I'm just glad we got Rosenbaum in the Marvel Universe, and
Yeah.
he's the DC Universe has had him with voiceover for some time. I'm glad he's.
Let me also throw out just we've got to move on. I'm taking
Yeah.
way too long in this. Eternity, Living Tribunal, Adam Warlock, or Magus. He could be on any of those two. Those could all be important. Whatever we've already
Gotta
talked
talk
about.
about
Yes.
the gardener.
No, I was just thinking that, yes, of course, hide some of the most important universal singularities in, like, the most simple thinking people possible. No one would ever expect to find the time stone in a garden, because
Yep.
some people just don't have time for bonsai.
That's
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Right now.
It's incredible what we've accomplished.
But
I
the
mean,
Cosmic Gardener, he has time because
do
he's
a
got the
lot.
time stone. So, but it would be awesome if he was Eternity. Like, can you imagine like Michael Rosenbaum as Eternity? Just
Hey,
the living
it looks
embodiment
good.
Love that.
of all of
That
our
is pretty
universe.
fun.
It'd be
Oh,
pretty
I'm so
awesome.
excited.
All right. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is also happening, but we've got to move on. So that's just Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is happening. Who knew?
Shocked.
Shocking.
Shocked.
All right. Before we move on to Doom's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. minute, I want to take a minute to tell everybody that's listening to our show about one of our wonderful sponsors, Blue Apron.
I thought we'd go
Yes.
with a minute of time.
Nope. I want to talk with me. This is going to be the most torturous thing because I'm starving right now. I'm very hungry, and I'm now going to talk about delicious food that I would love to have in my mouth and into my belly right now, and that is Blue Apron. Blue Apron is the #1 fresh ingredient recipe delivery service in the country. Their mission is to make incredible home cooking accessible to everyone, which they do. We all
Yes.
know because we've done it. And they achieve this by supporting a more sustainable food system, setting the highest standards for ingredients, and building a community of home chefs. They have upcoming meals, salmon piccata with orzo and broccoli.
Yes.
They had me at broccoli.
Fantastic.
Salmon piccata sounds amazing. Orzo, I'm on board, but broccoli, that's a top 5 for me. Like, you got me. They also have pork chops and miso butter with bok choy, a marinated apple, vegetable chili, and baked sweet potatoes with crispy tortilla strips. Lastly, upcoming meal, spicy shrimp coconut curry with cabbage and rice.
yes.
So, which one of those would you want?
I'm gonna do the salmon piccata.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one I'm doing. Because it's got broccoli. And I like salmon. I do like
Okay,
salmon.
then I'll do the pork chops and miso butter
Okay.
with bok choy.
Great, you can have that
I'll
one.
go caramel. The curry. The curry sounds real good.
The spicy shrimp coconut curry.
I'm a spice
Cabbage and
guy.
rice? Yeah, that does sound good.
Going for
that
it.
does sound good.
Something I really appreciate with them is that also you can recycle everything. Like you have to have at least 2 deliveries worth.
Yeah.
You put it back in the box and you print up a label, and then you can send that
Oh,
back. Yeah.
I didn't know. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're worried about all those
increasing
little
sustainability
baubles.
even more.
There you go.
That's fantastic. So let me for less than $10 per person per meal, Blue Apron delivers seasonal recipes along with pre-portioned ingredients to make delicious home-cooked meals. You have a variety of new recipes each week. So like you don't have to. You're not repeating meals. It's not like you only have like 10 choices. They have almost infinite choices. You can go on there and it's always different. They're always choosing something different. They each meal comes with a step-by-step, easy-to-follow recipe card, pre-portioned ingredients, and can be prepared in 40 minutes or less.
That is
which
true.
I'm super hyper busy. Like Brittany hardly ever gets time with me anymore, and my wife. So like 40 minutes or less I need that. That's important to me. So check out this week's menu. Get your first 3 meals for free with shipping. How do they do it? BlueApron.com/Marvel. You'll love how good it feels, tastes to create incredible home cooked meals with Blue Apron. So don't wait. BlueApron.com/Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now it is time for one more plug. It's time. It's time for one more. And that is it's time. That is MVMT watches or movement, just without the vowels. And
It's time for vowels.
Coy, I'm not even going to read the copy because you.
I am a passionate fan.
You're
of
a passionate
MVMT.
fan
I do
of
not have the
MVMT.
copy. I just have our rundown, and I will say from the heart that these guys do the coolest thing where they don't have physical stores. They only have the online use of their merchandise, so they pass the savings of not having to pay employees, of not having to. I mean, I'm sure they pay the guys,
Yeah.
but they don't pay
That didn't
people
sound
like
quite
to
right.
turn lights on. They don't pay like physical places. They literally charge you a reasonable rate for a quality watch, and that is so hard to find as a guy that likes watches.
I love this watch.
Yeah, you get compliments all the time. You don't have to go to a
yeah.
Nordstrom's or deal with very snooty people. You can just pick your watch online, and no offense to Nordstrom's.
Yeah, but they're also not a sponsor of ours. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I just love the idea that you can literally get a quality product at a reasonable price, because we know that it's hard to afford the world. Like, it's an expensive place. So you can still look good and dress good and be sophisticated with MVMT watches. And through us, you can get, I believe it's 15% off?
Get 15% off day with free shipping and free returns if you get the watch and you're like, maybe not. You won't. You won't.
And they start at $95. So
They start at-
$95, free shipping, 15% off of 95 is what? 450, 1350 off of 95. We're talking like $81.50 for a watch.
Wow.
Free shipping.
With free shipping, free returns by going to mvmtwatches.com/Marvel. You'll get 15% off. Yeah. I love this watch.
Yeah,
I
I
wear it
don't-
all the time. I'm not a watch guy. I haven't been a watch guy for 10 years.
I am not a watch person,
Yeah.
but this, I love this. And I got the Boulevard Hermosa finally, which is all rose gold.
And they do pay for their they do pay their employees. I'm just saying they don't have physical stores.
They're gonna make us read the copy next time.
Yeah, they're like, he says we don't pay anyone, so this guy, send your watch back.
Coy confirms. Anyway, so make sure that you help us out, help us stay on air by visiting Blue Apron, signing up for that, visiting MVMT watches, visiting them. We're giving you discounts, and they keep us on the air. So thank you very much. And now we don't have a new Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but we do have a new
Yes.
Doom Minute, because I think he might be going stir crazy without the show to watch.
Yes.
Go ahead and play that for us, Hydra Steve. Hydra wife.
Agent Johnson, you're exactly the type of agent I always wanted when I founded S.H.I.E.L.D. Oh, that's really an honor, Agent Carter. I don't know what to say. Hey, guys. Welcome back to another Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Minute with the voice of Doom. I might have gone a little stir-crazy. There hasn't been an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode in weeks, and it won't be for another 2 weeks. What very well may be the last Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episodes, because it is wrapping up a crazy arc like this, where you have old characters coming back in an alternate reality. Seems exactly the way the show would go out, and keeping Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. around for Infinity War is problematic at best. But cool stuff. We got pictures of Grant Ward. We got Rich Fitz going on. Don't know what's going on with Simmons. But look, the show's back in 2 weeks, and yes, back in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, guys. Until then, while you're waiting, check out my Iron Fist after show. This one with our other sister network, BHL, Black Hollywood Live. Join me, Joel Monique, Andrew Mena, and Rick Hong as we break down the episodes 2 at a time. It's been interesting. I'll see you over there, and I'll be back in a few weeks.
Oh, poor Doom.
You know?
Yeah.
Poor Doom.
Stir crazy.
Stir crazy Doom. All right.
Space madness.
Speaking of Iron Fist, it's time for us to take the dive into Iron Fist. I don't know where that voice came from either.
Yeah,
I'm
there's just voices today.
Beep, 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 boop. All right. Here's what I want to do.
Okay.
I want to start positive.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to start positive.
Like non-spoiler.
No, this is
first?
by the way, this is super spoilery. Like if we have all seen it. Our guests have all seen it. Like we've all seen it. This is spoilerific.
And when
Okay.
you
Spoiler alert!
Because I did a tweet that we do possibly do just opinions, and then
I say we
spoiler
go
alerts
for
already
it.
happened.
I say we
So-
go for it. Spoiler.
okay,
alert.
let's
Sorry,
do
I
it.
didn't see the tweet. I apologize. We should have talked before the show. That's
Yeah.
my fault. But let's start positive.
Okay.
I loved Colleen Wing.
I loved
Yes.
the villains.
Please, what villain? The Meachums?
I enjoyed the Meachums more than I
Yeah?
expected to. I did not. So the things I thought would be wrong were,
yeah.
Okay.
but the things I didn't think would be right were as well. So I got more out of it than I expected because I went in with the D- expectation, and I expected all the things to go wrong did. But when I got little morsels of happy, I was pleasantly surprised. I think the negative reviews actually helped me enjoy the show
Yeah,
because I went
that's
into
fair.
it expecting to be like watching paint dry, and instead, like I thought the Meachums were an interesting story. I loved the father-son dynamic of the two of them, and I loved I empathized. Like I mean, I love my dad. He's great. I'm not saying empathize that way, but I empathize with what he went through because the whole time he was just trying to appease someone and
Yeah.
please someone, and then
Yeah.
his dad was just trying to appease someone but being crafty, and then Joy was just like dealing with being the sister, like, but I'm running this company and
Yeah.
like blah. And they didn't make her weak. They didn't make her no one was a damsel in distress at
Yeah.
any point.
Yeah.
And I love that. Not a single woman was marginalized to being a woman in a situation. They were smart, capable fighters. There was no I loved how they handled the women in the show because
Yeah.
I wanted her to run the show, and we knew that going in. We
Yeah.
knew we wanted Colleen to be Iron Fist. It just didn't happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I liked that aspect.
Markia, what do you have to add to that?
I really liked episode 6.
I love, by the way, how specific you are on this.
Oh,
Because we talked about it on
we
Screen
talked about-
Junkies yesterday.
Yes.
You were hyper specific.
I like episode 6, the last 10 minutes of episode 8, and episode 11. And the finales are.
What was
cool.
the last minutes of episode 8 was him fighting
That's
Zhu
when
Chang?
he fights. Yeah, I think
the
it's
drunken
Zhao
Zhao Shang, probably the drunken
when
master.
The drunken master fight. Yes, I found that. I liked the change up in style.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was great because when you have like martial arts films or like, for instance, Drunken Master, Jackie Chan, it's like there's different styles in there. Yes, there's
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
the drunken boxing, but there's just other things. I don't know the names of the different styles,
Yeah,
but they have
we're
that.
not martial artists.
Well, yes, I'm not a martial artist, but I very much enjoyed that.
That we
and
know of.
Lewis, oh yeah, right. It's like a Harry Potter situation. I
Yeah.
don't know who's gonna bust in the door and all of a sudden you're an MMA fighter, Markia.
What?
Yeah,
Was episode 6 the Mortal Kombat one?
That was the
it was
tournament
the
one.
tournament.
Okay,
one.
yeah, it
It's the
felt
one
like
that was
Mortal Kombat.
directed by RZA.
Yeah, I could tell it was good directed.
I like that one because it did the flavor that I wanted this entire series to have,
Mm-hmm,
which is we are post Doctor Strange, we're post Legion. This is a mystical kung fu show.
Yeah.
And episode 6 gave us a mystical kung fu show, complete with having a possible, extra dimensional communication between, Danny Rand
Yeah, they
and
never
his
really-
trainer.
Never really addressed that. I
Yeah.
feel like it was all in his head, but there was a part of me is like, but
I think he might be there.
yeah, I think
you
it's
know?
actually possible. Yeah, so
Which is something that they dabble with in the comics too.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that. I wanted that flavor, that punch that is episode 6 to have been throughout the entire
Yeah.
series, but I very much enjoyed that episode.
okay. I loved Colleen Wing. I loved that she called herself the daughter of the dragon.
Yes.
I had the opposite reaction to this show than I did to the second season of Daredevil and Luke Cage, where those two series for me are seasons like started off like out the gate incredible, like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever, and then like particular episodes happen in there where it's just like, oh, okay, well, I'm not as sold on this conflict or this villain. Like,
Okay.
so like both of those seasons kind of finished in a little more lackluster than they started for me. I still loved both of them.
Okay.
But I preferred, Punisher, the Punisher story to the Elektra story. I thought they handled that a little bit better. And I preferred the Cottonmouth story to the Diamondback story. Just my preference. Iron Fist was the opposite for me, where it started off and I was like, oh god, oh man, I am not into this. But then Davos came in, and I was like, all right, I'm a little more on board. I'm paying a little bit more attention. Again, that could just be because I was dying to find something to grab onto.
Right.
I did, but I will say, because of the ending with Davos and everything else, I did not hate the show. I did not hate it. I do think it was the weakest of the Netflix series.
Yes. It's the 4th installment before Defenders, and they went very, very, very safe, I guess.
Yeah.
It could have been packed with so much.
Yeah.
I think it could have been packed with more, and it could have been shorter.
I agree.
Yeah.
In fact, I think that's probably an argument that we could make for every single one of these Netflix shows. That's an argument that's been made
from
since Daredevil is,
but especially for this one.
Especially for this one, like
I felt
13
like
is too much.
The supporting characters in this were more interesting, and I
Mm-hmm.
really enjoyed Carrie Ann Moss in this. Actually, this is the most I've liked. I'd
I
say
agree. I agree.
Jerry was
this is the
awesome.
most I've liked J Money in any of the shows she's been in, and I've really liked that. Like, I felt like I knew her more, and I knew the corporate stuff more, and like we talked the last 3 weeks leading up to this about how we were afraid it was going to be too corporate, how the fight scenes were going to be obvious, that it was like not prepared, and like all the things we were about were true.
Yeah.
But the things, like I was saying, like I didn't expect to love Carrie Ann Moss because I'd always been kind of neutral. Like, she's okay,
Right.
but like this, it made her really interesting, and I really felt that the world got fleshed out more, but it could have been fleshed out in 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, or because like with Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, and I went back and I watched the first couple of episodes with both of those to be like, maybe it's just me,
Sure.
was feeling this. But no, like in the first 6 minutes of Jessica Jones, you know her character, you
Yep.
know where she fits in the world,
Yep.
and you already have a point of view about her.
Yeah.
And then, like with Luke Cage, it takes about 10 to 12 minutes for that one. But I'm still talking about, the first episode where it's like, okay, you know where he is in the community. You know what that world is.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me, it took maybe 3 episodes before I really got that same thing from Iron Fist. And I don't know where that comes from. It seems like they made up a lot of things that they didn't have to make up.
Yeah.
Like with the John Anderson and with the passport and him striding through the streets and then just walking straight into the
That
thing.
just like they were like blah blah blah.
No,
plot,
spoiler. We already did the spoiler.
Yeah, no, I mean,
okay.
I'm just saying that just went away in the show. I totally forgot about that John Anderson thing. I was like, wait a sec. Oh my god, they had a whole plot point dissolve before our eyes. That's a good point.
Exactly. When it's like, when you look at the actual comic books themselves, go ahead and start with the relationship between Wendell and Harold and Heather Rand. Go ahead and start that. Start them in the Himalayas, where they're trekking. Have her get killed by the wolves.
Yeah.
It's like,
Do
go
it.
ahead and do that. Have this little kid, burning with vengeance and, training to be the Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead and have that. And that gives your lead character a little more time to get those kung fu moves down.
Yeah. Well,
just
Also,
just
like,
saying to get
music-
some more of that training in.
Before we go negative, because just around the bend. 'cause
I
think
thought
we're all-
I thought I was being pleasantly
No,
critical.
we are. I could just tell that it's about
pleasantly
to, 'cause
critical. Yeah, that's a good way to
I
put
mean,
it.
I liked the show. I wanted more.
Oh
from
yeah,
it.
I totally agree.
I think the biggest, if I could give like a 1-word review of it, it would be disappointed. Like, and I hate to be that way, and I know a lot of people really love the show, and
Which is fine,
which is great. You are allowed to love the show. Please do not fault us for having a bit more of a critical response to it. But there was a lot that I liked, but I was still disappointed, and I was disappointed because of how much. And maybe this is unfair because I know the character. I know what to expect from the character. I know what I want to see from the character. I know the potential that the character could have had.
Yes.
And it felt like they were just afraid to do it. And I know that they like blame some of the stuff on budgetary like restraints. But like I'm thinking like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did Ghost Rider. Like,
Yeah.
like they're a network show. Are they getting more money than what Netflix is putting into this? Because it seems like for ABC and Marvel, the Netflix shows are that's their flagship television.
Yeah.
Right.
And if it's a true budget thing, like you're saying, then cut 2 of those episodes out.
Yeah.
The first 2, cut
Yeah.
those out, and use that money And
To
go
give a
have
shout
that,
out.
have that half hour.
Yeah.
Just give us that half hour. Use that budget and put it in 30 minutes. And then let's have that half
Yeah.
hour and that's your exposition. So you don't have to spend that time explaining everything to us. Have
Yeah.
this character explain stuff. You just show us.
Yeah, exactly. Darren, do you guys have
Yeah. These are comments that we were making all through the first opening bits. Easily the first 3 episodes, I think, could have been condensed into one.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Danny felt a little lost. I know I'm jumping into the negative road. You guys are safe. I'm doing it.
No, but this is good because we're steeped in the industry and we have these critical responses. It's good to have you're watching this purely from a fan's perspective, so for you to have this is also an important opinion to have. So
well, and the thing is it is a good show. I think a lot of the initial critical reviews against it were unfair. One, you only saw the first half of the series, you didn't see the whole thing.
Right.
2, a lot of those reviews were really pushing a lot of the whitewashing argument
Sure.
that we got when we did the initial casting.
Well, the
Which-
cultural appropriation.
The cultural
Yeah.
appropriation, sure. But on the other hand, there's a lot of people across the world that practice martial arts,
Yeah.
and the idea of putting in necessarily an Asian actor just because it's martial arts, that has its own issues. So I'm fine with Danny Rand. I'm fine with him, being white. That's where everybody is used to the character. It would have been nicer if they had chosen someone or given him enough time to really train in martial arts, because that was one thing that did stand out.
Yeah.
I did stunts for years, so I'm used to how physical movement works.
yeah.
And he does not move like a martial artist.
Mm-mm.
And none of that was more appropriate than in the scene. It's not with Davos Baktun when he's learning how to control his chi.
Oh yeah.
And you have the 2 of them working right next to each other. It could not be more obvious. It's like martial artist, new guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going with that, I think just today an article came out in the Daily Telegraph. Did you guys see this?
Yeah.
Is this about Louis Tan?
No, that's also sad. No, this is an interview that Finn Jones gave. This came out on Friday, I think, on Daily Telegraph, but now a few, comicbook.com, a few other sites are picking it up, where they asked him about the martial arts scenes, and Finn Jones said, "I was learning those fight scenes just 15 minutes before we shot them because that was the schedule. It would be 2 a.m., 3 a.m., I'd just done a long day of work, and usually the stunt department would come up and say, 'Hey, right, so we've got this huge 30-person fight, and you've got to learn it right now.' So I was learning it on the spot within 15 to 20 minutes, and then shooting it. That was the reality for 6 months."
That's
That's
insane.
horrific.
Yeah, and that
It's a
came...
kung fu show.
No, I know, and that came... I don't remember if it was 3 weeks or 3 months, but that's all the training that he actually had.
That-
So,
that's-
here's
That's higher up than him then.
yeah. So I don't want to be negative on this
Yeah.
show. I really, really don't, because there's a lot of people who really did like it, and I want you to continue liking
Yeah,
it. And
storylines
I
yeah.
did not hate it. The story,
I
the
liked
story
it.
eventually picked up.
Yes.
It took a long time to get there.
Yeah.
There was a lot of plot convenience, and if you want to, if you're worried about trying to stay real with a mystical kung fu, that's flawed thinking.
It wasn't
Yeah.
just plot
From the
convenience,
start.
there was flip-flopping. Why at the end did Joy suddenly decide to want to kill Danny when the whole show she spent trying to be the voice of
Yeah.
reason?
Yeah.
So many moments were just it'd be convenient. It was just stuff happened and then they just rolled with it.
Yeah.
It never had a rhyme or the plot. Try to explain
Yeah.
the plot.
So, Caroline, do I see you raising your hands over there, Caroline?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to go
Caliban?
back to Caliban. Which is why I'm so tired. I'm
out in the
not a
sun for a
well
second.
person. This is hard on me, Logan. Well, the one thing that you had said, and it's something that really irritates me a lot, and because we kept going back and forth over all the issues you're saying, is show me, don't tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one was the first one of these Netflix that I just felt like they were telling me, look at me, I did this, I've done that. Don't tell me, show me. I want to see you walking through the snow, and I want to see you getting your butt beat.
You can say. You can say. You can
Okay,
say.
sorry.
No, it's funny. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Keep
It's always don't do that. We're here for the ride. We want to go on this ride.
Yeah.
And they cut so many corners. What it came down to when they were having big scenes, I really didn't want anything to happen to the women. It was almost like if Iron Fist got ran over by a truck, I'd be like, oh, sad. Let's check out those lovely, amazing
What's
other
Colleen
characters.
Wing doing? Is she
Yeah.
doing
It's
good?
like, is she okay? As long as she's okay.
Is Rosario Dawson still going to gather everyone?
Is
Okay, good.
Wasn't she amazing, though?
She's always
Rosario.
Rosario Dawson.
So
I love the interchange between her and Davos in episode 11, where it was where he's so earnest and he's putting forth his point of view and he's being so honest, and she's like, oh, okay, I see where you're coming from. That does suck.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that started to wonder if Scott. So like, I'm gonna get into the. This is going to be an uncomfortable conversation for me to have and here's why. I am a white cisgender male. I do not know if I'm allowed to have these opinions or to say these things. I do not have this perspective. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like came a time where towards the end of the season, I think it was like around episode 9 or something, where I started to wonder, is Scott Buck actually the showrunner, is he actually choosing to address through this very strange long metaphor like actual white cultural appropriation of Asian mystic culture?
I don't believe he means to.
I don't think he meant to, but there came a point where I was like,
there.
You are showing Danny Rand very literally stealing something from an Eastern culture, and they are saying that they need that thing. You later on find, indeed, they did need that thing.
Yeah.
And Danny Rand legitimately actually stole it.
Yeah.
And I was like grabbing onto that. I was like, oh my God, please be making a brilliant metaphor for like Anglo culture, like culturally appropriating. Please be are you? I don't know if like. So again, I do not come from that side. I do not have that experience. Perhaps it is unfair for me to speak on those things, but that was my opinion on that. I think a lot of it could have been solved by having like an Asian American, or just an Asian, like it doesn't have to be American, someone with that heredity as a showrunner.
As soon as I learned the Louis Tan thing, that
why
was
don't you say that? We do actually need to start kind of wrapping up.
So
but
basically, the second in line for the role, practically second in line, I'm not sure of the actual number, but Louis Tan, the guy who played the Drunken Master, was all but Iron Fist. And he, in those first 12 seconds of meeting him, had more charm and charisma and pathos. Like, I wanted to know everything about him as soon as I looked at him, and that's what I want.
He's the last 10 minutes of episode 8, the drunken fight.
He's
He's Zhao Shang.
He can fight. He probably he moved like a martial artist, which is my thing.
Is.
My thing wasn't Finn Jones, and I think Finn Jones is the face of this problem, so he's gonna get the brunt of it. So I'm not saying I blame Finn Jones, especially with this 15 minutes knowledge. I won't speak on the Finn Jones thing because I'm not he, and I don't know what it was. Quite for Iron Fist though. Thank you guys. But I do think that the movement was my biggest issue, because the entire show takes place around martial artists who are saying the ultimate martial artist is this guy, the guy that cannot be defeated, the immortal Iron Fist, the ultimate weapon. Every martial artist in the world looks to this one guy, and the one guy was the only one that didn't move like them, and not in a positive way. So like, that's not Finn Jones's part, but the fault. But the guy Louis Tan moved like water, like he moved in such a fluid, magical, beautiful way that a 6'3" Asian American, 185-pound beast of a martial artist would have been my Iron Fist in a second.
Yeah,
and I would have loved that.
I believe he's half Asian.
Yeah.
So it's like, and he speaks about that, where he's like, he feels like an outsider, and if they're going with those outsider themes, then tell me that actor isn't going to bring that life experience into that role.
So cool too. His coolness.
He's
I
very
wanted
cool.
more coolness.
Oh my God,
Danny
he's
Rand
so
is the
hot.
coolest.
Oh my God, he's so hot.
You meet Danny Rand and Luke Cage, you're like two of the coolest dudes ever.
That would
You
be a
met
great
that guy,
romance.
right? I feel like the coolness was slightly lacking because Finn Jones didn't have time to be cool because he was so busy learning martial arts.
Yeah, he was probably up here like a whole lot with it, you know?
I'm sure.
So
like
Louis Tan, I feel like was
Lexi
so
Alexander, the director
her,
of Punisher Warzone, she has actually a pretty good thread about this on
Oh,
her
does
Twitter.
she? I should go check that out.
recommend, just checking that
Can
out.
she direct The Defenders? I've been wanting Lexi
No,
to get
they
back into Marvel for so
Yeah.
many things because she's just so good at directing
The
action.
showrunners on the Defenders, I mean, not directors, but the showrunners on Defenders are the same ones who did Daredevil season 2.
No, yeah, the showrunners.
So
I'm saying,
I'm
and-
fine with that.
But the director of the episode is
Yeah.
going to shape the fighting, and
Sure.
Lexi Alexander's such a good fight director that
Oh, yeah.
we learned with Iron Fist a negative that the fight choreography and the directors of each individual episode, why episode 6 works, why episodes 1 through 5 and 7 through 11 might not have, is because of the directing of the fight scene. Like there were more edits than punches, there were more
Yeah.
cuts than visuals.
That's
and
that was
clear.
like that's a telltale sign, by the way, for those of you who may not know. If the fight scene is chopped, that means that the fight didn't actually look great.
And once
Yes,
again,
they
he had
had
15
to.
minutes. Like, poor Finn Jones is going to be like,
Yeah.
okay, line. Oh, right. Oh, line. Oh! So they had to. And, like,
Yeah.
it's nobody's fault except for pre-production, or post-production.
I kind of put most of the blame on Netflix and Scott Buck, the showrunner.
And he's the showrunner for Inhumans, right?
Yeah, which now like it has me a little more nervous for Inhumans. And like,
a
look,
little
I've never showrun a show. I'm not
Yeah.
a showrunner. I
Yeah.
can't speak to that. But I do think that they kind of fumbled on this one, and the fumble has made me a little more nervous for Inhumans.
I just want Danny Rand to be cool and to be able to fight.
And here's the good thing. Maybe we're gonna get through this stumble. Finn Jones is Danny Rand,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
better or for worse. So he's probably doing a lot more training, and he's probably a lot better prepared for Defenders. And we're probably going to get a lot of great stuff in Defenders.
I'm sure because of the critical response. I'm sure that they
Yeah.
probably concentrated on that.
I absolutely agree. That being said, we do need to move on to social media very quickly.
Yes.
But if you have specific questions, please ask us on Twitter. We'll try to get to those. And please don't hate us if you loved it. We're
Yeah.
absolutely not saying that you
I
shouldn't
liked
like
it
the
more
show.
than I ever expected to, and there were
Agreed.
moments that I was fully...
Oh yeah, was
We
totally
liked it.
was totally good. Was a great time. I enjoyed it. I don't think it deserved all of the negativity.
I
it
totally
got.
agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
But as fans, we want to be able to give our honest opinion back, so that the next projects they do, they learn from their mistakes. They learn stuff that didn't work and make adjustments.
We all lived through
Yeah.
Wolverine Origins. We can live through this, and this was much better than that.
This
So
was
we're
much
glad
better.
about
This is not Wolverine
That's what I'm
or
saying.
this
We're
is
evolving
not
to the point
this
where
is
this
not the last stand.
It's
Like
That's what I'm saying. We're living in a world where this
wow.
is the bad one. Like, we're doing great.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if this
Yeah,
is the worst of
exactly.
Netflix, like, yeah!
we're doing good.
doing
They
just
were- we
fine.
won. Are we spoiler alert off now, or?
I want to say one last thing. This was the review that I gave a few of my friends who I talked to for a show that's based on a comic book character that learned kung fu from mystical monks in a mystical city and got a superpower from a dragon. There was a surprising lack of all of those, and that is why that's where like my more negative reaction, my more critical sort of reaction comes from. So now, spoiler alert off.
Spoilers.
Merry
off.
Marvellites!
Woo!
Let's get through this real fast because we gotta close out. We're moving
Yeah.
on.
Okay, so quick shout out to the Jacques for being.
Yeah, welcome, Jax. Welcome. Yay, the Jax. Yay.
We have a number of people that are also like they love the show. Thanks for the love, guys. You guys are the best. Another great show. And then from Alex Aro, I'm Tri-Nerdule. I like the MCU, the DCEU, and Fox. That's
Oh,
fun.
nice. I
think
like
that's
that,
fun.
Alex. Well done.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a number of questions. We answered some of these. Chris Logel, does the name on Danny's fake passport have any significance from the comics? It does not. That was made for the show.
I think it was made for the show, though.
Yeah.
There is a John Anderson in Spider-Man. I can't remember.
Yeah, there's also a John Anderson in The Matrix.
Yeah, exactly. Like John Anderson's kind of a pretty. I
Kind
don't
of chosen
know.
for that reason to be the
Yeah.
most black and white
Probably
guy.
so.
It's the smell.
Yeah.
Mr.
And then also CTAN at walking_IMDb. We also answered yours. Rumors of originally casting Lewis Tan over Finn Jones. How do you feel like about that? If it's more interesting. Okay, and fun comment from Charles Lee at GoofyFan_Chuck. I'm gonna call it. Misty loses her arm in the Defenders, and Danny pays for the replacement instead of Stark.
Ooh, I like it.
I like that.
That's a good
I like
point,
it.
dude.
Yeah.
Well
like that.
done, Charles Lee.
Can easily do that. And then from Aaron Wilkinson at @ERanWilk. Was so fun to meet Matt Key, his
Hey.
wife Brittany, and Ken last night out in Pasadena. Much love to Marvel Movie News.
Yeah, we
and
were
Collider
we were
Video.
out there for St. Patty's Day. We were out in Old Town Pasadena, and this guy Aaron comes up. Hi, Aaron, and he comes up to me and goes, you're Matt Key from Marvel Movie News, and you're Ken, and you're Matt's wife, Brittany. And I was like, oh my God, you liked your show. So like we talked for about 20 minutes. Aaron, I may need your help reminding me what we talked about.
It was St.
Patrick's Day.
Oh, there
and
you
we were
go.
being safe. We live a mile from there. We took a lift to and from.
That is great.
Be safe out there, kids. But yeah, Aaron, it was great to meet you. And I know Aaron emailed me. We're gonna have him on the show soon. He's gonna sit where you guys are.
Yeah.
You better dress up, Aaron.
Yeah.
Aaron,
The bar is high, dude.
fair warning, sir. Fair warning. I've got a
Okay.
Doctor Strange costume you can borrow.
He's got like 3 of them, probably.
Yeah, probably so.
Okay, so and then from Eddie Brock at Gonzo_7792, he tweeted us. He has leg tattoos. Like
Yeah,
right
they're
leg is
awesome.
Marvel
They're
villains,
awesome.
and then left leg is heroes. He's
Yeah,
getting
they're
Doc
awesome.
Ock next. So if we could show those real quick. Okay,
Boom.
so you see here,
Beautiful.
Venom.
So
It's
cool.
gorgeous Venom. It's just like exploding off of
Yeah,
his leg.
it's really cool. Oh my God, Doctor Doom looks so good.
Yeah, these are really well done too, dude.
Wow, Magneto. Yeah. And it's classic.
Like, and their
Magneto. I
action
love it.
poses. Very
Those
nice.
are great tats, man. And
This is Thanos,
Oh,
and he's sitting in
so-
his chair.
Well, of course he is. That's what Thanos
That's what you
does.
do.
Like that, and he's
what
got
you
like
do
that,
when you control the
that
universe.
cackling grin. And then, so for the last one, this is from Blackbeard. So he sent a fan picture.
What?
It's me taking on some ninjas as Misty Knight.
That's awesome.
That's rad.
That's super cool.
I think that's so fun.
Oh, the
I
ninjas are
very
so-
much appreciate
Yeah, that's
that.
really cool.
That's
That's
so awesome.
that's
Excellent
Joe
work.
Jobius 3000. He's the one who
Yes.
did my Doctor Strange
Yes,
picture.
he
That's
is.
still my Twitter handle.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to make that as my profile picture for a little bit of time. I like that.
we also had some shout outs from Nolan Dean, Lance Green, Eliane Guy, Rosario, Darren Jacks is here. Has a shout out. And Jamal Richardson. They wanted shout outs. Hey, I gave them to you.
Oh,
I got three quick iTunes.
Yeah, do
Joe Brewer 28, Evan M 91, and Nerd Closet. Thank you all very much.
Closet.
We appreciate you
Nerd
listening every week. Yeah, Nerd Closet's a great name, and thank you all for the iTunes love, and we appreciate you as always.
yes. We do.
All right, so we need to close off now that we're an hour 20 in.
Yes.
Go for it. Where
Okay,
can
so you
people
can find
find
me
you?
on Instagram and Twitter at Markia McCarty, MarkiaMCCARTY. And also, you can see me on WWE Raw AfterBuzz TV. That's on Mondays. I do that 8 o'clock with John LaQuasto and Ty Matthews. And if you like nerd stuff, who does? If you want this Thursday at 8 p.m., I'll be on Saving Throw Show. You can go to twitch.tv/Saving Throw Show, and I'm in the Star Wars RPG. It's Edge of Empire with a little bit of Age of the Republic thrown in. It is a limited campaign.
Nice.
Yes.
That's awesome. Coy?
I'm Coy Jandreau at CoyJandreau on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on this show, and then tomorrow I'm doing Does It Hold Up, talking about Neverending Story over at Screen Junkies, and then I'm fighting for the belt, the prelim, coming after Dan Murrell on Movie Fights. It's me, Hal, and JTE up for the prelim belt fight on Thursday. Check them out. It's gonna be awesome. And this is all I want out of Danny Rand in The Defenders. This shirt is everything I want him to embody, and if they do that for season 2 of The Defenders, I'll be a happy man.
I have a quick question. Why doesn't anyone call JTE Jete?
Ooh.
I call him Jete. I've always called him Jete.
Jete.
I've always
Okay.
called him Jete. I love Jete. Everyone should do that. Jax, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us. As always, it's always a blast to come down and hang out with you guys.
Next time you guys have a costume you want to do, let us know. We'll have you back in.
Heck yeah.
What happens is you invite us, and then we think,
What's
who do
out
we want
now?
to be?
But it's
Time to
yeah.
make.
And
Yeah.
we say, what do you want to do? And we...
And then River
Dude.
says, I want to do Logan.
Well,
Was that a good impression of her?
When you have a kid
Perfect.
and she comes out looking like X-23, the die is cast.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's
true. You do look like
This
Laura
is what
Kinney.
she was doing, and we just had to
We had to
morph
figure it
around
out.
She was
her.
put on a denim jacket once. They're like, well, I got her Halloween for the next decade.
Yeah. I am Matt Key at the Matt Key on Twitter, and I'm on Screen Junkies from time to time. I also have my comic book show on Wednesdays, the Wednesday Club over on Geek and Sundry's Twitch. I'll tweet out links to that stuff if you want to hear me talk about that stuff. Tomorrow we are doing a horror-centric episode.
Nice.
Horror in comics.
Fun.
So I've got a lot of reading to go do because all I've kind of read is Lock and Key and Hellboy.
There's a lot out there.
Okay.
Go to the
Something.
Jocks and check out their place in Pasadena. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's awesome. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you, bye-bye.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.